Oh, God. They put the evil up there, and now I can't help but think that something bad's gonna happen to this family. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are here with another episode of Madoka Magica, the confusing show that seems like it's all just happy magical girls. Well, it's not even happy anymore. I don't know that it was ever happy. Again, that's the element that you all decided that you knew you wanted me to watch a magical girl anime. Okay, what was the other one? I can't remember now. Sakura something. Anyway, it was going to be from a show that looked explicitly like a happy magical girl anime, or this one that I knew going in had a twist of some sort. And you all chose the twist one, which I guess why not, right? And Cardcaptor Sakura, Phil Fisher is reminding me in the chat. I knew Sakura was in it, but for some reason I thought Sakura was the first name, and I was trying to think of the second one, which is obviously why I didn't get there, because it wasn't the first part of the name. Anyway. So yeah, and there's basically no point at which I would describe this show as a happy magical girl anime. Like maybe the first part of the first no, not the first part of the first episode. It starts off negative, then we join them a little bit happier, and then it's all downhill from there. Well, anyway, we have a board. Let's look at the board real quick. And with the board comes a board changelog, which in this case is only one thing. I changed the red line from Sayaka to Akami to white. Legitimately, the end of last episode, Akami came in and helped Sayaka out. Or at least distracted her. No, not distracted her. Distracted Kyoko during the fight that they were having. And I assume... So I'm just realizing now that that might be my folly, is that I'm assuming. I assume she's going to help out Sayaka during this fight. That might be the thing. The show makes twists all the time. Akami could like fucking kill Sayaka right now. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know? If you get what I'm saying. It just seems to me that Akami's attachment, connection to Madoka would help, or would push her towards helping Madoka's friends that are in danger. But at the same time, she is pushing this whole your attachment to things is your weakness, so I can't tell. Anyway, that is the board and the board changelog. I also, of course, come with notes. When Sayaka is meeting Kyuubi in the garden, less than 20 seconds into the episode, to discuss making her wish, I saw the pattern of the garden, and for some reason, it really struck me as familiar, and I couldn't think of why. I must have paused on the scene for like 10 minutes trying to figure it out. I think what it was that I was thinking of was the Azorius signet from Magic the Gathering, which I could swear the art for was based on something, but for the life of me, I could not figure out what. And that's as far as that connection went. In the same scene, though, we see Kyuubi granting Sayaka's wish, which involved him reaching into her, and we see two separate ripple effects. That very much reminds me of the opening where we have Madoka beside herself. I think I voiced out loud during last reaction the concept of a duality between magical girls and witches. That maybe Kyuubi is separating the two from one or something. That the soul gem and the grief seed are in fact opposite sides of the same coin. Beyond the breakdown of the lyrics of the opening that I did in the second episode, I don't think anything from the opening is true. It seems like a hilarious sequence of a misadventure from Magical Girl Madoka, but the ones witnessing it are Magical Girl versions of Sayaka and Mami. Mami is dead, has been since before Sayaka became a Magical Girl. This is basically the same observation I had last time about the three of them on the tower together at the end of the opening, but I feel like it just reinforces that thought, that something is wrong here. The only part of the opening I think might be true is when Magical Girl Madoka is beside herself and when they interact with one another. One of them forms flashes into darkness before transforming, as per my duality theory. I feel like Hitomi's encounter is just the first event in Akami's original warning to Madoka that if she doesn't want to lose everything she cares about, then to just continue being herself. When Madoka goes to Mami's home to grieve, Mami had tea on her table and a book about tea. When Sayaka is thinking back to possible regrets, she flashes to a thought of Mami and then of the grief seed from when Mami died. The grief seed had pierced a cup and saucer of tea sitting on the table. That seems very on point for a Mami-specific event, like they line up specifically with one another somehow. Has Kamijo been doing performances in the hospital room since his recording? Since recovering. We saw how quickly they pushed a musical instrument on him later in the episode, but I couldn't help but notice that there were 6 other chairs in the room besides the one Sayaka was sitting in that I don't remember being there before. Granted, his healing was a miracle, but it very much seems like the chairs are positioned to observe him from across the room and not sit and talk to him like a doctor's visit. The fact that Kyobi doesn't seem to know Akemi or where she came from only reinforces my belief that she's from the future. Only in so much that it seems like Kyobi is the only one granting wishes. Even Kyoko doesn't understand how Kyobi couldn't know who another magical girl could be. That Kyobi says that she did and she didn't would be that time loop element. If she made the wish in another timeline that didn't happen, then it would be a different Kyobi and not this one. If I could figure out that weird language thing that pops up when the witches are around, I'm sure I'd be figuring out a lot more stuff by now. Right now, the puzzle in front of me is that the same text that's in the witches' labyrinths are also on the rings that form the soul gems of the magical girls. I mean, I know I already have the Who duality theory going, but Mami and Akemi both have that text on their rings, and it's always possible that if I could read what that text was, it would be a solid clue into what is going on. Also, just for the sake of notice, the finger with the ring on it, on both Sayaka and Akemi, has nail polish of a specific color. Akemi, it's a purple star, and Sayaka, it's a blue sea. Akemi says that becoming a magical girl is a mistake that cannot be undone, like returning someone back from the dead, which I assume has to be an implication towards something she's experienced. Maybe the source of all the events that have happened? My 2 theories on the matter are either that this is what Akemi's wish was that made her a magical girl in the first place, or the twist is that Akemi is alive because that was Madoka's original wish from the episode 1 start, and we came back to the beginning as a result of going back to a moment when she was alive again. The contract takes away everything in exchange for a single hope. I would think that might reinforce my entire theory about having to continue to fight in order to keep your wish active. But again, the idea that Mammy might have wished not to die and then got killed in the pursuit of keeping that wish alive feels like an impossible circular loop that just throws the theory. Kyokyo mentions that a familiar has to eat 4 people or so to become a wish. Sorry, the thing where I keep messing up witch and wish. To become a witch. At which point, it will have a grief seed. We heard that when Mammy was around and with the girls, she had been hunting mainly familiars. Could that be the culprit in why Mammy died? If the idea is that you need to keep pulling the darkness out of your soul gem with grief seeds to keep your wish going, and Mammy wasn't collecting grief seeds while she was with the girls because she was focusing on familiars instead, maybe to make sure things weren't too dangerous for her new friends, rather than going back to being alone, and that's why she couldn't maintain her own wish to be alive, that'd fit into all of my theories about how things work and why things are happening. Those are my thoughts. I guess there's nothing really left here to do but to go ahead and hop on in and see what we get this episode.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Ah yes, back to the fight. I mean, so I don't really know what Akemi's power set is. I think it's like teleportation or something. It very much feels like she just like teleports from a position that she wasn't in before. I said I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, first she knocked her out to make sure she didn't get herself killed. Of course he did, in another timeline. Oh, I thought she was gonna, like, spear grapple her way up. Ooh. I feel like she had to ask. Not just like she said correct, not as though. Oh, you fucking predator. Sorry, I also realized that I am the only one at the moment pushing the narrative that there is a time loop going on. And I'm really stretching and reading the subtext and everything to try and make it true. And if it doesn't come by the end, I assume there's going to be a lot of pissed off people on YouTube that will be like, I wish you would shut up about this. But in that reading of Is the Time Loop Real, when Akemi says, I've warned you about this time and time again, correct? I have to think there might be an element there that's not her chastising. You know, like, repeat back to me that I've said this to you before. And more of an element of, I'm in a time loop. Did I warn you this time? I'm pretty sure I warned you this time. That maybe she's saying correct to herself and not specifically completely directed at Madoka. Now, once again, 100% could just be me making up a situation. Also, I want to say that last time I was watching the opening, I paused at every transition scene where Madoka runs behind a wall and then the wall goes past and we get a new scene. Because I 100% thought the show might have written something on the wall. You should be fine for a while. I thought I was going to eat it. I guess technically that's the same thing as eating it. That's what I said.
でもまた次にソウルジェムを浄化するためには早く新しいグリフシードを手に入れないと。これをきれいにしておくのってそんなにも大切なことなの？さくら京子は強かっただろう。余分なグリフシードがあれば魔法を出し惜しみせずに無駄遣いすることだってできる。それが京子の強みだ。だから
Okay, I mean, that's exactly what I said I thought Grave Seeds did to Soul Gems.
魔力を使えば使うほどソウルジェムには汚れがたまるんだ。さやか、君がグリフシードを集められない限り、京子と戦っても勝ち目はないと思っていい。
So really implying that magic is a non-infinite commodity.
十分なグリフシードを持ってたわけじゃないんでしょ。でもちゃんと戦えてたよね。やっぱあれ、才能の違いとかあるの？確かにそれは事実だね。
I mean, that's what Kyobi has been saying about Madoka, or what she would be.
こればっかりは仕方ないよ。京子は素質がある上にベテランだし、逆に全く経験がなくても才能だけで京子以上の魔法少女になれる天才だっている。誰よそれ？要まどかさ。
You remember when one of the rules is I can't pressure you into doing anything? Kyobi is now using Sayaka to pressure Madoka.
彼女が僕と契約すれば。ダメ。これは私の戦いなんだ。あの子を巻き込むわけにはいかない。
I just can't get it past my thought process that Kyobi is the villain somehow. Yeah, but you moved up to trying to kill her. Also, is this that diegetic thing I was talking about before in Escaflowne? That seems like the opening sound. Yeah, it is. It's the opening music. Because I've lived it once already.
ワルプルギスの夜ね。確かに一人じゃ手強いが、二人がかりなら勝てるかもな。 食うかい？
Was Madoka Magica the start of the Pocky craze, or did that come before
ダメだ。
the show?
時間が経ちすぎている。昨夜の使い魔を追う手がかりはなさそうだ。そう。ねえ、さやかちゃん。このまま魔女退治を続けてたら、また昨日の子と会うんじゃないの？まあ、当然そうなるだろうね。だったらさ、先にあの子ともう一度会って、ちゃんと話をして
I mean, that goes contrary to Kemi's plan.
でないと、またいきなり喧嘩の続きになっちゃうよ。喧嘩ね。昨夜のあれがまどかにはただの喧嘩に見えたの。
I mean, it didn't look like you were winning.
ね、正真正銘殺し合いだったよ。お互い舐めてかかってたのは最初だけ。途中からはあいつも私も本気で相手を終わらせようとしてた。そんなのなおさらダメだよ。だから話し合えって。バカ言わないで。相手はグリーフシードのために人間を餌にしようってやつなんだよ。どうやって折り合いつけろっていうの？さやかちゃんは魔女をやっつけるために魔法少女になったんでしょ？あの子は魔女じゃない。同じ魔法少女なんだよ。探せばきっと仲良くする方法だってあると思うの。やり方は違っても。
I mean, that feels like be the way to go in a normal show. It definitely doesn't feel like a normal show.
ホムラちゃんも。マミさんだってホムラちゃんと喧嘩してなかったら。そんなわけない。まどかだって見てたでしょ。あの時あいつはマミさんがやられるのを待ってから魔女を倒しに来た。
Mammy locked her the fuck up.
マミさんを見殺しにしたんだ。それ違うよ。あの転校生も昨日の京子ってやつと同
Alright, Sayaka is being poisoned by this.
今ならわかるよ。マミさんだけが特別だったんだ。他の魔法少女なんてあんな奴らばっかりなんだよ。そんな。
If one person can be an exception, then there can be any number of exceptions.
次にあいつが狙うのはまどかのパパやママかもしれない。たっくんかもしれないんだよ。
Oh, don't put that evil on us.
男とするやつを許せるの。
Also, nothing better happened to that little boy. He is a treasure.
大切な人を守るためにこの力を望んだの。
And also the parents, obviously. I already mentioned the
も
parents.
し魔女より悪い人間がいれば私は戦うよ。たとえそれが魔法少女でも。さやかちゃん。
Well, we've already lost Sayaka to all this.
僕から言わせてもらえるのは無謀すぎるってことだけだ。今のさやかじゃ明美穂村にもさくら京子にも勝ち目はない。でもね、さやかは聞き届けてくれないよ。
I mean, maybe it's time just to hang out with Hitomi more. You lost Sayaka. Also, the point that if you became a magical girl now, it kind of feels like Sayaka would try to take you out. I assume that's Mom back from work. Yeah.
眠れないのかい？ちょっといい？友達がね、大変なの。
Also, I never put ice cubes in flavored drinks. They melt and it waters down the flavor.
正しいことを頑張ろうとすればするほどどんどんひどいことになっていくの。よくあることさ。悔しいけどね。正しいことだけ積み上げていけばハッピーエンドが手に入るってわけじゃない。むしろみんながみんな自分の正しさを信じ込んで意固地になるほどに幸せって遠ざかってくもんだよ。間違ってないのに幸せになれないなんてひどいよ。私どうしたらいいんだろう。
そいつばかりは他人が口を突っ込んでも綺麗な解決はつかないね。
Sure, but you still give advice.
たとえ綺麗じゃない方法だとしても解決したいかい？うん。なら間違えればいいさ。正しすぎるその子の分まで誰かが間違えてあげればいい。間違える？
That's a...
怖いものから逃げ出したり。でもそれが後になってみたら正解だったってわかることがある。本当に他にどうしようもないほどどん詰まりになったらいっそ。
The problem with that is they might not realize the right thing, and you've put yourself in harm's way or ruined yourself for their sake, and it doesn't turn out well for you.
綺麗な解決じゃないって。その子のこと諦めるか誤解されるかどっちが増したい？マドカ、あんたはいい子に育った。嘘もつかないし悪いこともしない。いつだって正しくあろうとして頑張ってる。子供としてもう合格だ。
They put the evil out there, and now I can't help but think that something bad's gonna happen to this family.
大人になる前に今度は間違え方もちゃんと勉強しときな。勉強なの？若いうちは怪我の治りも早い。今のうちに上手な転び方を覚えといたら後々きっと役に立つよ。
Fair enough.
大人になっちゃうとね、どんどん間違うのが難しくなっちゃうんだ。背負ったものが増えるほど下手を打てなくなってく。それって辛くない？
Yeah, you know, it's like high school drama versus fucking adult trauma.
だから酒飲んでもいいってことになってんの。
私も早くママとお酒飲んでみたいな。
Oh, we're death flagging all over the place. I feel like it felt like a death flag conversation. I want to grow up and drink with you. One of these two people's gonna die.
あら、上条さんなら昨日退院したわよ。リハビリの経過も順調だったから予定が前倒しになって。
You think Sayaka is going to be having a problem with the fact that when he was injured, she had him all to herself? And now that he's going to be free and about, he's going to be too busy to spend time with her? Or something like that?
Oh. もしないで帰るのかい？今日一日追いかけ回したくせに。お前は知ってるよ。この家の坊やなんだろ。あんたがキューベイと契約した理由。
Well, now she has a thing that she can threaten you about.
たった一度の奇跡のチャンスを食ったらねえことに使い潰しやがって。お前なんかに何がわかる？分かってねえのはそっちだバカ。魔法ってのはね、鉄頭鉄尾自分だけの望みを叶えるためのもんなんだよ。他人のために使ったところでろくなことにはならないのさ。ともえ豆はそんなことも教えてくれなかったのかい？
I'm gonna say, this is a good chance to have a good conversation without getting into a fight.
今すぐ乗り込んでいって坊やの手も足も二度と使えないぐらいに潰してやりな。
Never mind, she's a fucking crazy person, I forgot.
できない体にしてやるんだよ。そうすれば今度こそ坊やはあんたのもんだ。身も心も全部ね。
Maybe not so much his heart. Because you'll be the one breaking his limbs.
私が代わりに引き受けてもいいんだよ。同じ魔法少女のよしみだ。お安いご用さ。絶対にお前だけは絶対に許さない。今度こそ必ず場所変えようか。ここじゃ人目につきそうだ。
I at least appreciate that she's a pragmatist. Like her whole let them eat 4 or 5 people to become a grief seed. And she requires grief seeds. I'm saying she's doing the bare minimum to keep herself in power. Whereas Mammy didn't do enough, obviously. See? Red and a flame on the finger. And then Sayaka has blue in the sea.
マドカ邪魔しないで。そもそもマドカは関係ないんだから。ダメだよ、こんなの絶対おかしいよ。うざいやつにはうざい仲間がいるもんだね。じゃああなたの仲間はどうなのかしら。
Look at it, Cammy.
ミキサヤカには手を出すなと言ったはずよ。あんたのやり方じゃ手ぬるすぎるんだよ。どの道向こうはやる気だぜ。なら私が相手をする。手出ししない。
What did I say? Right from my notes.
十分よ。なめるんじゃないわよ。さやかちゃん、ごめん。
Also, you can just legit steal it. Teleportation, I was right.
あんたなんてこと。だってこうしないと。さやかちゃん。今のはまずかったよ、マドカ。よりにもよって友達を放り投げるなんてどうかしてるよ。
Oh, is she in the soul gem?
どういうことだ、おい。こいつ死んでるじゃねえかよ。
Wow. Okay, so she is the soul gem. She's just wearing herself on her body.
さやかちゃん、起きて。ねえ。ねえ、ちょっと。どうしたの。ねえ。嫌だよ、こんなの。さやかちゃん。何がどうなってやがんだ。おい。君たち魔法少女が体をコントロールできるのはせいぜい100メートル圏内が限度だからね。100メートル？何のことだ。どういう意味だ。
I guess you wouldn't know because you would never get rid of your soul gem.
こういう事故はめったにあることじゃないんだけど。何言ってるのよ、キューベ。助けてよ。さやかちゃんを死なせないで。マドカ、そっちはさやかじゃなくてただの抜け殻なんだって。
I mean, that explains the duality thing I was trying to think about.
ただの人間と同じ壊れやすい体のままで魔女と戦ってくれなんてとてもお願いできないよ。君たち魔法少女にとって元の体なんていうのは外付けのハードウェアでしかないんだ。君たちの本体としての魂
Well, this explains everything.
より効率よく運用できるコンパクトで安全な姿が与えられているんだ。魔法少女との契約を取り結ぶ僕の役目はね、君たちの魂を抜き取ってソウルジェムに変えることなのさ。
And then magic being non-infinite resource means that you have to suck the darkness out of yourself or you die.
心臓が破れてもありったけの血を抜かれてもその体は魔力で修理すればすぐまた動くようになる。ソウルジェムさえ砕かれない限り君たち
So then how did Mammy die?
弱点だらけの人体よりもよほど戦いでは有利じゃないか。ひどいよ。そんなのあんまりだよ。
Did we ever really see what happened to Mammy's soul gem? Because if that's true, her body was killed, but her gem should still be around.
決まって同じ反応をする。わけがわからないよ。どうして人間はそんなに魂のありかにこだわるんだい。
Also, the fact that Akemi knew what was happening, implying that Akemi knows everything that these girls didn't. I'm gonna have so many notes next time. It's a reframe. Well, it doesn't reframe everything. It's obviously the duality thing I was talking about, but I thought the duality was going to be the magical girl and a witch being made, that was clearly the duality of your soul being separated from your body. And again, I was paused on it for 10 minutes. Obviously, I'm thinking back to the garden scene where Sayaka makes the wish, right? Because we see her body just like fall to the ground. Obviously, that is the body becoming lifeless and the soul gem being made, which I guess then has to be then connected to the body. So then the body, there's a point in time between the soul being separated from the body and the body being lifeless. Maybe that's why you don't make a wish out in the open or something. I don't know. 100 meters, though. That explains why they wear them as rings and just don't hold them all the time. But, sorry, the thought process I was having in the moment is the idea that they are basically the Green Lantern rings, right? Technically, you can steal a Green Lantern ring, at which point the lantern loses all their power.
戦いの運命を受け入れてまで君には叶えたい望みがあったんだろう。それは間違いなく実現したじゃないか。本当の気持ちと向き合えますか？
But that does beg the question: what happened to Mammy? She had her head ripped off, but the idea being that doesn't mean anything. Like, did the thing eat her soul gem? Because literally, we did see it like devouring her body afterwards. But what does it mean for a witch to get your soul gem? Is there some reverse effect? It very much seemed to imply, when they used the grief seed on the soul gem, that it didn't destroy or remove anything from the grief seed. That it could be used to, I don't know, make another familiar or another witch. Which, would be good for the economy of needing them to refresh yourself. Like, you wouldn't want to kill all witches, otherwise you yourself will eventually die. So, it seems unlikely that a witch would... I mean, I don't know what the... sorry, the word coming to my head is economy, and economy is not what I want to use here. I don't know what the environment of a witch is. Is a witch beholden to the same need to devour? I guess they are, technically. We know that witches devour people. Familiars devour people. Witches try to get people killed. But why? What do they get? I don't know. It very much feels like if this was... No, I'm sorry. I was about to go on a mental tangent, but the mental tangent doesn't work here either. The example I was about to give. Okay, so familiars kill people. Familiars turn into witches. Witches also try to kill people or make people kill themselves. But what do they get out of that? Is that the thing that powers them up? And if that was the case, then they are a lot easier to keep around than a magical girl. Because a magical girl specifically only feeds on witches. If a magical girl kills a person, do they get power the same way? Like, is it transitive? The way that a witch kills a person, that it might power them up? Like, grass grows, a cow eats grass, we kill cow, we eat cow. Could we just eat grass? That kind of thing. As I said, going to have a lot more thoughts when I rewatch, because I think this episode explained a lot of stuff, but there's probably like micro thoughts I could be having about every specific thing, and those are the things I really want to get into. So, that said, I think we're going to go ahead and leave this episode here. And of course, as I said, I'll come back next time with more complete thoughts on everything we saw in this episode. But once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?